Hello good people of YouTube, Real Life Sealord here, and if you have been around long enough to watch my Forza Horizon video, you might recall me saying this.
Oh, this car, by the way, is absolutely my dream car that I hope I don't know, eventually be able to get one day, eventually, or something pretty close to it.
Well, I did. So this is, channeling my inner Doug DeMero, this is a 2010 Chevrolet Camaro SS. This is what's considered to be, if you don't know, a 5th generation Camaro, meaning that it is the 5th body style, well, I guess 5th overall design of the Camaro, which started back, of course, with the Camaros in the 60s. Now, why is this my dream car, and why did I buy a car that's 14 years old? Well, there's a few reasons behind that. First off, this is the car that came out when I was in high school. This was the one that we saw on TV and the ads and Transformers. This was everywhere when I was a kid. I think there was Need for Speed Underground or something like that, this was on the cover of. And of course, you know, me being a teenager, that was incredibly cool. And plus, I am a Chevy guy, if you guys haven't picked up on that yet from some other IRL videos. So, this was my dream car, and I bought it. Now, I haven't bought it recently. I've actually had this car for about 2 years now. What happened is that I've been saving up for this car since literally I got out of high school. This is about 5 or 6 years, oh God, no, I'm old. This is about 7, 8 years in the making. So, what was going on is that I was putting money aside every year for this car, and well, we all know what happened in 2020, COVID. So you could get a 2010 Camaro SS with about 60, 70, 80, 90,000 miles on it for about $17,000, $18,000. I'm not married, I don't have any kids, so I don't have those expenses. That's how I was able to put so much money up. But when COVID happened, I was watching the prices of these cars because it was getting close to where I was going to be able to actually buy it in the next year or so. But these prices started going 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm like, if I don't get it now, I'm probably not going to be able to get it. So I got it. If you're wondering how much I paid for this, I paid 22 flats. I had to go to Texas to get it. And you might be thinking, if you haven't looked at the car market recently, $22,000 for a used car? That's a steal today. You cannot get a used, certainly nothing like this, unless of course, you know, you just know a guy or maybe in your local area. But if you look online, the going prices for these cars are $25,000, $26,000, $27,000 in this condition. This car is in really good shape for being a 14-year-old car, and we'll take a closer look at that here in a moment. So that's why I got this car so soon. Now, why has it been 2 years since I've got this thing and haven't made a video on it? Well, one, wasn't really sure if you guys would be interested in it, but you guys liked the last IRL video we did, so we're trying that out here. And plus, it did need a little bit of work. But let's walk you through what this thing is, and then we'll talk about what I've done to it, then we'll go take it for a drive. Behold, engine. So this car is powered by a 6.2 liter LS3. This is the same engine that was and still is put in Corvettes, well, the same family of engines, I should say. This is the same engine that was used in the Corvette of the same year and for some time. I think they're on actually the LT family now, which is built on the LS series. So what I do like about this, if you see right there, there was this big plastic cover that covered all that up because that was a stupid thing that was done back in the early 2010s and still is done today. But the previous owner ripped that off, which I'm very appreciative of, previous Texas woman that owned this, because it was a woman that owned this car, which she did some stuff to it too. So as far as power goes, the engine produces 426 horsepower on this one. This is a manual transmission, so I get that extra 20 horsepower because I shift the gears instead of the automatic transmission doing that. Now, as you see too, she did put a cold air intake on it from Rotofab. This is a pretty high dollar one. Cold air intakes, depending upon like who you ask, the manufacturers say you get like 20% more HP from it. Realistically, I think it's somewhere around like 5–10% more horsepower. So this one, if we're going the low side, is making about 450-ish horsepower. If you want to take what the manufacturer says, like probably 480, closer to 500, but I think it's probably around 450. So one of the things we had to do was, if you have a Camaro, you know that if like one spark plug or one coil goes bad, the engine idles really rough and it's kind of, it was very shaky. So we had to go ahead and change all of the coils, wires, and spark plugs on this car, which that wasn't cheap, because I don't do aftermarket parts. I like to get either OEM parts or above. By aftermarket, I mean like I don't go get like O'Reilly's or AutoZone brand stuff for this car at least. So that was pretty expensive, but it runs great now. And this car does have 89,000 miles on it. And I mean, for the mileage, it's in really good shape. The engine's still really snappy and such. The LS engine is legendary for its aftermarket support for high-end parts, and mechanics love to work on them because they're super simple. That's what the LS is. Essentially, it's a basically the pinnacle of older technology for engines. It's not like the Mustang's 5.0 engine. By the way, if you ever see like a 5.0 from a Mustang next to an LS3, even though the LS3 is a 6.2 liter and the Mustang's 5.0 is 5 liters, the 5-liter engine's much bigger because it's got all these zany things going on with it. But this is pretty simple. It is a small block. And if you look at it, you may not think it's small, but take a look at some other engines. So something else I had to do was, well, this car has some interesting history. After the previous owner sold it, it apparently went to auction, and then the lot that I bought it from bought it. And whoever had it beforehand, I'm assuming the guys at the auction, what did you guys do? Because after buying it, had a bit of steering wheel wobble, which usually means that the tires are out of balance or whatever. So I took it to a tire shop, and they wouldn't even mess with the rims or anything, because these tires in the front, the one on the passenger side was from 2007, and then this guy was from 2009, which that's no good. So I had to get 2 new front tires. And then also the rims were, or the wheels, were Foose aftermarket rims. I don't know what happened with the originals, but that's what it came with. And apparently those were too banged up to be made of use. So I had to get these ZL1 rims for the car. And then 2, I had to change all the rotors and the pads. So that was another like $2,000 to $3,000 that I had to spend after dumping $22,000 on our car. I did buy this outright. I didn't get a loan or anything, so there is that. So yeah, that was fun. But everything else in the car was fine and works great. And in fact, well, we'll get to the surprise later, but let's take a look at the interior. So the first thing that got me is that these doors are long. Look at this. This is like several feet. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but I guess on a 2-door car, the 2 doors can be kind of long. So the interior, if you will take a look, it's in really good shape. There's not, again, keep in mind, this is a 14-year-old car with 89,000 miles on it. Let me open up the other door for you guys so we can maybe get a little bit more light in here. There's only one kind of scratch on the radio. Everything else is pretty much perfect. A little bit of wear on the steering wheel and on the driver's seat, but everything else on the inside is pretty much perfectly intact, which is really impressive. And everything in here works, all the gauges, the radio, everything. It's great. Granted, most of the value in this car is in the engine. The LS3s, even used like this, still go for like $8,000 to $9,000 because it's such a great engine. The visibility, I was told, don't be able to expect to see too much out of it, but it's really not that bad. This comes with someone that drives a pickup truck that has great visibility. It's not really that bad as long as you turn your head. The boot around the shifter is a little worn down, but that's okay. That's not hard to fix, nor is it expensive to fix afterwards. There's a back seat if you want to torment your passengers. I've had people ride in the back. It's not terrible, but they are also small people. and we were leaving before the Karens call the cops at this what's the correct word? Not undisclosed location, undeveloped street that was built there in like 2000. But people don't like the loud noises, so we're departing. Please note all fast parts of this video were filmed in Mexico.
Okay.
All right, here we are driving now on L Highway. As far as like the drivability goes, it's really comfortable in here. It's the GM Zeta platform, which I believe was actually designed by Holden in Australia. Then GM bought Holden, and then they use this platform for the Camaro, the Cadillac, I think STV or CTS, one of those, and for the Chevy SS for the limited amount of time that was built, that's a travesty. I wish that car had been well, pushed more by GM, but they did it. But anyway, as far as things go in here, you've got a very 1960s looking dash right here. This is what the original Camaro's dash looked like, very similar. And that's another reason why I bought this car, is that it looks like the first generation of Camaro. It looks like the 68, the 69, the body style still looks like that design. And the newer cars, like the 6th gen and the later 5th gens, they're of course streamlining them, trying to get them to go faster and things like that, because air is air, and they kind of lose that original look. So that's why I really like this one. But as far as the interior goes, we have the good old 2010 radio. The 2010s didn't get the big old LCD screen or LED screen, whatever that was. They got just this guy right here, which originally I was going to swap this out, but I decided, nah, I like the way that this looks with everything. You have the SS gauges down here for your battery, your oil pressure, oil temp, transmission temp. Got a little 12-volt cigarette lighter there, traction control on and off. And you do have buttons on the steering wheel for your cruise and for the radio. You have a little LCD screen right here in the middle too, that I do like that they included that. Of course, it's still like the 2009, 2010 LCD screen, not the LED screen of later Chevy products. And again, like the visibility, it's really not that bad. I don't have any problems seeing things that I need to see in here. You can turn your head. I don't know why people say they have horrible visibility. Maybe some of the later ones do, but like the 2010 5th gen is fine. I do have a sunroof here too with, well, that just makes it hot here in Louisiana, so that stays closed. This is a 2SS, so that's why it has the sunroof, and does have heated seats as well with the electronic seat controls and things like that. The RS, which this is not an RS, it just had the HID headlights. This does not. This just has halogen headlights. I'm fine with that. Good old headlight bulbs are a lot easier to change than when an HID goes out with the LED rings. You got to replace the whole headlight, and that's 600 buckaroos at that moment. Some quirks of this car. There's a couple of design flaws. First off, whoever put the cups right here for the manual, because when I got a shift, my arm goes there, they need to be shot. That means you can have a very small beverage. Other than that, no beverage can go there if you want to actually be able to shift. Some of y'all might be thinking, oh, you Americans and your large cups and your cup holders. Yeah, but we gotta drive 3 hours to go anywhere, so like, I need my water, all right? Also, a major design flaw in the 5th gens, the air conditioning, which is a very vital part of this car, being this is South Louisiana. Observe, this is not the maximum AC setting because I cannot put it to the maximum AC setting. Why? So, when you are, well, controlling the temperature in your car with a knob like this, and I'm pretty sure with like the digital gauges too, what that actually doing is operating something called a blend door. It's a little door that adds in more cold or more hot air, depending upon where your temperature's at. That little blend door in the 5th gen Camaros is made of plastic. Saves weight. However, when you are at maximum cold, the motor that moves the blend door doesn't stop when you're on max. It just keeps torquing on that piece of plastic. So what happens is, if you leave it on max, over the course of several years, that motor will break that blend door. Now you might be thinking, surely you can replace it, right? Or even you can replace it beforehand with maybe something with a metal blend door, which I think they do make, because the aftermarket support for these cars is great. I'm sorry about the bumpiness. It's Louisiana roads. We didn't raise our drinking age to 21 when the federal government did. So the federal government said, hey, you don't get any money for your roads. So roads are very bumpy. I do apologize. Anyway, so yes, you can replace it. However, you have to take all of this dash and the windshield off to get to it. So yeah, no, we just stick with mostly cold AC. So there's that. This car is equipped with what I like to call a speed safety indicator, meaning that when I drive around 60 miles an hour, the steering wheel shakes a bit. Why? I don't know. I've replaced the tires, I've replaced the wheels, I've replaced the rotors. We've checked the bearings, they're fine. Next thing is the sway arms, which might be one of them, but it do that. So also too, make sure you have sunglasses, because that's all you get. Also, if you want to put your makeup on, that's all you get. So yeah, wear sunglasses. It is a little loud in here. I'm not sure. It looked like a lot of insulation was taken out of the trunk, and that's where a lot of the noise comes from. That's about the only complaint that I really have. But I mean, like, it's not anything terrible. The radio, when it's going, this does have, yeah, it's got a Boston stereo system, which is really good. It's held up really well for a 14-year-old sound system, so that kind of helps. But like, if you just want to, you know, drive and listen to the engine, you get more noise from the rear tires than anything. But again, if that's the worst thing about this car, we're having a great time. Oh, like here's a safety shake right now. Yeah, see? It's shaking a little bit back and forth. Because normally when the tires are out of balance, it'll shake from like 60 to 65 and stop around 70. But it's doing it right now, but it wasn't doing it like 3 minutes ago when I was originally talking. So yeah, it's very little. That's another thing too. It's not even that bad. Like, if you look at like my hand in the background, look how much the steering wheel is moving. It's really not bad at all. Like when the wheels were jacked up, when I had those Foose rims on, it was looking like if you guys have seen the Ford Death Rattle from the F-150s, I think it was their sway bars or something like that. It was like that level with the old tires on, with the old tires and the old wheels. But once I got these new ZL1 wheels and new tires on the front, it's dropped a ton. So I think it may be the sway bar, but we can have that fixed. Or I could fix that too. That's not terribly hard to do. That's another thing about this car. It's very easy to work on. I do have a 1968 pickup and a 2018 Silverado. That's my daily driver. Yeah, I fall into that. If you guys have seen that meme where it's like the guy hobbies and it's like model making, video gaming, guns, and cars, I'm right in the middle of that Venn diagram, and that's why I don't have a lot of money. But, you know, I'm young, and, well, I want to live life a little bit before I start, like, you know, just stacking up money in the bank. And plus, with the way inflation's going, too, this car, I paid $22,000 flat for it, and it's valued at, like, upper 20s, 30s today, so I've made $10,000 on my investment just about at this point. But again, the car market, by the time this is uploaded, the prices might have dropped or something like that. So yeah, there's that. But you know, we're here to have fun. Otherwise, this is one of the best driving cars I have driven. It feels really comfortable and really satisfying to drive. The steering wheel is really big and like grippy. I really like that. It's got the Transformers font. Like it's the same font that you guys saw on the outside of the car on the inside. So that's pretty cool too. You know, nice flashback from my childhood, from my high school years. So yeah, I love the car. I don't daily drive it. I drive it like on the weekends, on like a Friday before a break or something. I'll take it to work. Other than that, you know, it's a great car. I love it. Hopefully I'll have it for a very long time. And that's what I gotta say about that. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed and want to see more of these IRL videos, just let me know in the comments down below. This is pretty fun to do, a big departure from what we normally do here on the channel, but again, I'm trying to branch out more IRL things. So thank you guys for watching. If you want, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Testing, I am testing the mic. Microphone testing. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, just record something. Dab. Banana, 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 banana.
No, there's a bug coming after me. There's a bug coming after me. In case you get lost.
Yeah, all cars have that. You didn't know that? No, that's like a thing now. So you know, it's hard to kidnap people.